Let's get right into it. Number 15. Shrinking brains. Picture this. You walk into a room full of modern humans and cavemen, and instead of the cavemen drooling in the corner, it's us that look like we lost a bet with evolution. Why? Because our brains have literally shrunk over the past 20,000 years. That's right. The organ we brag about the most, the crown jewel of our species, has gone on a diet nobody asked for. Back in the Ice Age, humans had brains roughly the size of an NFL football. Today, more like a deflated soccer ball. Okay, that's a bit dramatic, but the shrinkage is real, about 10% smaller on average. So why would evolution let us get dumber? Well, maybe it didn't. One theory is that smaller brains are more efficient, kind of like trading in your clunky desktop computer for a sleek laptop. Another theory says it's because we've become more social, like outsourcing your memory and survival skills to the group instead of having to do all the heavy thinking alone. But there's a darker twist. Some scientists think our comfy modern lives mean we don't need to think as hard. We're basically outsourcing brainpower to Google, GPS, and Siri, which makes you wonder, are we evolving into people who can't survive without Wi-Fi? Imagine plopping a modern person in the wild with no phone. Day 1, tries to Google how to make fire. Day 2, eaten by raccoons. So yeah, our brains are smaller. Evolution might be streamlining, or it might be quietly saying, you guys peaked with fire and the wheel, now it's downhill. Number 14. Wisdom Teeth Woes. Your mouth is a time capsule from a time when humans used their teeth like Swiss Army knives. Chewing raw roots, cracking nuts, tearing meat. Back then, extra molars were the difference between dinner and starvation. Fast forward to today, and we're basically eating soft bread, smoothies, and chicken nuggets that practically chew themselves. And those extra molars? Now they're just freeloaders causing chaos in your jaw. Wisdom teeth are the ultimate sign of evolutionary lag. Our jaws got smaller as our diets got softer, but the genetic blueprint didn't get the memo. So these third molars show up late to the party, crowding your mouth like that one cousin who insists on crashing weddings uninvited. Cue the pain, swelling, and dentist bills that feel like they require a second mortgage. Here's the kicker. Some people are already being born without them. Evolution might actually be phasing wisdom teeth out like obsolete phone ports. But for the rest of us, we still get to pay hundreds of dollars for the privilege of having them ripped out while we mumble nonsense under anesthesia. Basically, wisdom teeth are proof that evolution hasn't quite caught up with DoorDash. We don't need them, but we're stuck with them. Congratulations, your body is running old software and forgot to update. Number 13. Back Pain Factory. Your spine is basically a miracle of engineering that evolution slapped together with duct tape and good intentions. Here's the problem. It was never designed for the life you're living now. Our ancestors were climbing trees, running barefoot, and squatting in fields. You're hunched over a laptop for 8 hours, then slouched on a couch scrolling TikTok for 4 more. No wonder your back feels like a pile of Jenga blocks at the end of the day. The human spine is curved in a way that works fine if you're moving around like a hunter-gatherer. But sit still long enough and it turns into a stress factory. Lower back pain, slipped discs, sciatica, basically, evolution never accounted for office chairs or commutes. It's like taking a Ferrari and only driving it through stop-and-go traffic. Eventually something starts smoking. And don't forget childbirth. Our upright posture makes human birth one of the most painful in the animal kingdom. Most mammals pop out babies like gumballs from a machine. Humans? Hours of screaming, danger, and hospitals. All because we stood up on 2 legs and evolution shrugged like, close enough. So yes, walking on 2 legs gave us hands free for texting, but it cursed us with a lifetime subscription to back pain. Evolution, the ultimate buy one, get one free scam. Number 12. Useless goosebumps. Ever notice how your body randomly decides to sprout tiny, pointless mountains on your skin whenever you're cold or freaked out? Goosebumps are one of those leftover evolutionary quirks that sound cool in theory but are basically useless now. Way back when we were more, let's say, furry, goosebumps puffed up body hair to make us look bigger and scarier, kind of like a cat arching its back. Imagine early humans trying to scare away predators by turning into a hairy balloon animal. Cute but effective. The same reflex also helped trap heat like a natural puffer jacket. Fast forward to modern times. You're hairless, living in central heating, and the only predator is a deadline. Goosebumps don't make you warmer, they don't make you scarier, and they sure don't stop your boss from asking where that report is. The best they can do is give you the occasional chills during a horror movie, which is more of a vibe than survival. It's a reflex stuck on repeat, like hitting the elevator button 20 times even though it won't make it come faster. Basically, goosebumps are your body's way of saying, remember when this used to matter? No, neither does evolution. Number 11. Appendix Roulette. Ah yes, the appendix. That random little organ squatting in your gut like it's paying rent in prime real estate. Scientists once thought it was a completely useless leftover from when our ancestors needed to digest leaves and bark. Imagine your appendix as a tiny, unemployed roommate who just sits around waiting to ruin your weekend with appendicitis. The appendix doesn't do much today, except explode at the worst possible time. Medieval surgery? Death sentence. Modern surgery. Congratulations, you now have a story about how you almost died because of a glorified meat straw. But here's the twist. Some scientists argue the appendix might actually serve as a backup storage for good gut bacteria, kind of like an emergency pantry for your microbiome. Which sounds important until you remember that the thing still randomly tries to kill people. That's like a smoke detector that sometimes bursts into flames for no reason. So, is the appendix totally useless? Not entirely. But it's the most unreliable organ on the roster, like that one coworker who occasionally helps but usually just calls in sick. Evolution hasn't ditched it yet, so we're stuck rolling the dice. Appendicitis, the world's worst game of organ roulette. Number 10. Needing glasses. Congratulations, you live in a time where you can see thanks to tiny pieces of glass strapped to your face. But here's the kicker. Bad vision is basically evolution trolling us. Our eyes are supposed to be survival machines, spotting predators, tracking prey, reading the room literally. But nowadays, a huge chunk of humanity can't read a street sign without corrective lenses. Some theories say this explosion of nearsightedness is a side effect of modern life. We spend way more time staring at screens and books than at the horizon. Evolution designed your eyes for, where's the tiger hiding in the grass? Not, did Netflix drop the next season yet? It's like putting racing tires on a shopping cart. They weren't built for this terrain. The real kicker? Glasses are such a recent invention that for most of history, bad eyesight was a death sentence. Imagine trying to hunt when every deer just looks like a blurry brown smudge. Or worse, getting catfished by a lion. So yeah, we may be smarter and more advanced, but a shocking percentage of us wouldn't last 2 days in the wild without prescription lenses. Evolution gave us the gift of sight, then downgraded it to demo version. Number 9. Allergies gone wild. Your immune system is supposed to be a superhero, blasting germs, battling viruses, and keeping you alive. But somewhere along the line, it decided pollen, peanuts, and cat hair were sworn enemies. Allergies are basically your body mistaking harmless stuff for biological warfare. A speck of dust? Full code red alert. Peanut? Deploy the histamines. We're all gonna die. Here's the messed up part. Our ancestors rarely had this problem. Their immune systems were busy dealing with actual threats like parasites and infections. But in our cleaner, modern world, your immune system is bored out of its mind. So it picks random things to fight like a guard dog that barks at the wind. This is called the hygiene hypothesis. The idea that being too clean actually makes your body worse at knowing what's dangerous. So now, millions of people carry EpiPens just to survive contact with common foods. Meanwhile, our cave-dwelling relatives were chomping raw mammoth meat and licking mud puddles for hydration. They probably would have laughed us out of the tribe for sneezing ourselves half to death during springtime. Basically, your immune system is like that one friend who can't handle even the mildest spice, overreacting dramatically while everyone else is just trying to eat. Evolution made a warrior and we got an overcaffeinated chihuahua. Number 8. Childbirth Chaos. For most animals, giving birth looks like pop, baby's out, done. But humans? Nope. We got the deluxe nightmare package. Hours of pain, high risk of complications, screaming that could shatter glass. Why? Blame evolution's bad interior design. C. Walking upright narrowed the pelvis. At the same time, evolution gave us massive baby heads to house those big brains we're so proud of. Put those together and you've got a logistical nightmare. Babies with heads barely small enough to fit through the human birth canal. It's like trying to shove a watermelon through a mail slot. This isn't just uncomfortable. It's dangerous. Historically, childbirth was one of the leading causes of death for women. Even today, with all our fancy medicine, it's still risky in many parts of the world. No other species has it this rough. Cows, cats, chimpanzees, they all have smoother deliveries. Only humans made it a full-blown medical event. The irony? Our big brains are supposed to be the crown of evolution, but they're also the reason childbirth is a screaming endurance test. Evolution gave us intelligence and then said, by the way, here's 9 months of nausea and a finale that feels like medieval torture. Thanks, evolution. Truly thoughtful. Number 7. Standing desk skeletons. Humans love bragging about how we're the only animals that stand tall on 2 legs. But this great evolutionary achievement comes at a price. Your skeleton is paying rent in pain. Bipedalism freed up our hands to make tools, throw spears, and eventually text while walking into lampposts. But it also cursed us with a laundry list of problems. Flat feet, varicose veins, knee blowouts, and that lovely lower back pain we already roasted. Here's the catch. Evolution didn't design us to sit all day, but it didn't design us to run marathons either. Our bodies are awkward compromises, good enough to jog after dinner but not perfect at any one thing. Your knees? They're basically engineering disasters waiting to happen. The pressure on them when you run is several times your body weight. And don't get me started on bunions. Proof your feet are crying for help. So yeah, we walk upright, but the trade-off is we're like IKEA furniture. Looks fine on the outside, but one wrong move and something snaps. Standing tall gave us culture, tools, and skyscrapers, and also an orthopedic surgeon industry thriving on our evolutionary flaws. Number 6. Junk DNA drama. Your body is basically running on a code written by drunk programmers. DNA is supposed to be the blueprint of life, crisp, elegant, precise. But here's the thing. A huge chunk of your DNA doesn't actually do anything. Scientists used to call it junk DNA, which makes it sound like your chromosomes are hoarding old newspapers and expired coupons. Now, not all of it is completely useless. Some of that so-called junk plays regulatory roles we don't fully understand yet. But a massive percentage of your genetic code is just sitting there like, yeah, I'm here. I contribute nothing. Pay me in mutations. It's evolutionary baggage from viruses, ancient genes we don't use anymore, and random filler. Imagine writing a recipe for chocolate cake and half the page is scribbles about spaghetti from 10,000 years ago. That's your DNA. Evolution never bothered to clean it up, because why waste energy fixing the file system if the body still boots? So we just keep passing along these cosmic typos. What's worse is some of this junk can backfire, turning into genetic diseases or cancer. So not only is it useless, but sometimes it's actively sabotaging you. It's like evolution left you with a roommate who doesn't pay rent, hogs the Wi-Fi, and occasionally sets the kitchen on fire. So yeah, we're evolving forward in some ways, but at the molecular level, we're still carrying a giant trash heap of biological spam. Number 5. Fragile teeth. Teeth are supposed to be survival tools. Chomp through food, protect yourself in a pinch, last a lifetime. Instead, human teeth are basically porcelain collectibles. One wrong crunch on a popcorn kernel and boom, you're scheduling a dental appointment that costs more than a vacation. Our ancestors had stronger jaws and bigger teeth, built for chewing raw plants and meat. But with softer diets and cooking, our teeth didn't need to be as tough. Evolution scaled back durability but forgot to remove cavities, decay, and the joy of root canals. Seriously, no other animal has a dentist industry worth billions. Lions don't need braces. Wolves don't floss. But us? We invented toothbrushes, toothpaste, mouthwash, fluoride, floss, dental picks. Basically an entire aisle at Walmart dedicated to keeping our teeth from mutiny. And let's not forget braces. Our jaws have gotten smaller while teeth stayed the same size, which means overcrowding. That's why so many kids end up with enough metal in their mouth to pick up radio signals. So yeah, evolution gave us the ability to talk, sing, and smile charmingly. But it also cursed us with a set of fragile, high-maintenance chiclets that require constant babysitting. Survival of the fittest? More like survival of the dentist's patience. Number 4. Sleep paralysis demons. Sleep paralysis. The terrifying moment when your brain wakes up but forgets to hit enable body. You're stuck lying there, completely frozen, while your imagination goes full horror movie and conjures shadow people in the corner. Fun times. From an evolutionary standpoint, the paralysis part makes sense. It's your body's way of preventing you from acting out your dreams. Like punching your partner because you dreamed you were fighting a bear. Useful. But the hallucinations? That's where evolution decided to get spicy. Sleep paralysis visions are often creepy figures, demons, or intruders. Why not hallucinate kittens? Balloons? Nope. Your brain defaults to terrifying ghost lady sitting on your chest. Some scientists think it's because your amygdala, the fear center, is overactive during the paralysis. Others think it's a leftover survival reflex, a way of staying hyper-alert in vulnerable states. Either way, it's evolution's cruel prank. Hey, you're completely helpless. Let's also throw in a horror show for fun. People across cultures have described nearly identical sleep paralysis monsters, which means evolution hardwired us all with the same nightmare DLC pack. So if you've ever woken up, unable to move, convinced there's a demon breathing in your face, congrats, you've experienced one of evolution's worst coding bugs. Number 3. Near-drowning reflexes. Let's talk about water. You'd think humans, being made of 70% of the stuff, would be great at handling it. Spoiler, we're not. Unlike dolphins, seals, or literally any animal that looks good in a wetsuit, most humans are awkward flailing messes in the water. Evolution didn't exactly equip us with gills, fins, or even the instinct to swim properly. What we did get is the mammalian dive reflex, which sounds fancy but mostly boils down to your body panicking the second your face hits cold water. Heart rate slows, blood flow reroutes to vital organs, and your body acts like you're suddenly starring in Finding Nemo. Babies can actually hold their breath underwater reflexively, which is kind of cool. But for adults, that skill fades, and all we get is the thrill of swallowing half a pool. Here's the kicker. Drowning is one of the leading accidental causes of death worldwide. You'd think after thousands of years, evolution would have thrown us a bone. Webbed toes, built-in floaties, maybe an instruction manual. Nope, we got just enough instinct to almost survive in water, but not enough to actually be good at it. Basically, evolution said, "You're land animals. Deal with it." And then humans, being stubborn, invented boats, snorkels, and the breaststroke. We hacked the system, but our biology still treats water like it's a final boss. Number 2. Broken stress alarms. You know that heart-pounding, sweaty-palmed, "oh my god, I'm about to die" feeling you get before a presentation? That's your fight-or-flight response. Evolution designed it to save your life when a saber-toothed tiger lunges at you. The problem? Your brain doesn't know the difference between a tiger and a PowerPoint. Your stress system is basically a fire alarm that goes off whether it's a house fire or someone burned toast. Cortisol floods your system, your heart races, digestion shuts down. All so you can run or fight. But in modern life, the threats are deadlines, traffic, and wondering if your crush left you on read. And unlike a tiger, those stressors don't go away when you hide in a cave. They just linger. Chronic stress wrecks your body, weakens the immune system, messes with memory, raises blood pressure. It's like your survival reflex got stuck in on mode because your ancestors didn't evolve with email inboxes. Evolution gave us a turbo boost system for emergencies, and now it's constantly triggered by Microsoft Excel. So next time you're sweating bullets over something trivial, remember, your nervous system is role-playing caveman survival in a boardroom. Evolution didn't downgrade the alarm system, it just left us with one that can't stop crying wolf. Number 1. Self-Destruct Mode. At the top of the list, the biggest sign we might be evolving backwards. Our own bodies slowly sabotaging us. Heart disease, cancer, autoimmune disorders, all skyrocketing. Sure, some of it is modern lifestyle, but part of it is baked into our biology. Evolution never planned for humans to live this long. For most of history, if you made it past 40, you were basically Gandalf. Our cells divide with built-in expiration dates, DNA collects damage, and the immune system eventually turns on itself. Aging isn't a graceful decline. It's your body glitching out, like an old computer that starts randomly crashing after too many updates. And because evolution only cared about getting you to reproduce, everything after that is just bonus content, and not the good kind. So now we live in a world where medicine keeps us alive longer than nature intended, but our bodies are still running prehistoric software. The result? A slow-motion self-destruct sequence disguised as golden years. In other words, evolution gave us fire, language, skyscrapers, and then forgot to fix the bugs in the system. Are we evolving backwards? Not entirely. But in some ways, it feels like humanity's been clicking "Remind Me Later" on its biological updates for about 50,000 years. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.